Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Islam's presence in Brazil is a fascinating story of resilience, adaptation, and cultural contribution, tracing back to the early colonial period. It begins with the arrival of African slaves in the 16th century. Under Portuguese rule, Brazil became a primary destination for the transatlantic slave trade. Around 37% of all enslaved Africans, totaling over 3 million individuals, were brought to Brazil. Among them were many Muslims from West African regions, particularly the Hausa, Yoruba, and Mandinka ethnic groups. Known locally as the males, these Muslims practiced their faith covertly, preserving their religious traditions despite the immense oppression they faced. In secret, they continued their prayers, fasting, and teachings, keeping Islam alive under unimaginable circumstances. One of the most significant chapters in the history of Islam in Brazil was the Male Revolt of 1835. This uprising took place in Salvador, Bahia, and was led by African Muslim slaves and freedmen who sought to challenge their subjugation. Though the revolt was ultimately suppressed, it stands as a testament to the determination and organizational strength of the Muslim community during that time. The Male Revolt was not just a fight for freedom, but also a bold assertion of cultural and religious identity in the face of systemic oppression. As time progressed, Islam in Brazil saw a new chapter with waves of immigration from the Middle East during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Most of these immigrants were Christians from Lebanon and Syria, but a notable number were Muslims. They settled primarily in urban centers like São Paulo, where they built communities, contributed to the economy, and enriched the cultural landscape. These immigrants played a key role in shaping the Muslim presence in Brazil, establishing connections between their heritage and their new home. When we consider the Muslim population in Brazil, the figures vary widely depending on the source. According to the 2010 census conducted by the Brazilian Institute of Geography and Statistics, there were approximately 35,200 Muslims in the country. However, the Federation of Muslim Associations of Brazil, commonly known as FAMBRAS, offers a much larger estimate, suggesting that the Muslim population is between 1.2 and 1.5 million. Another perspective comes from the Pew Research Center, which in 2010 estimated the number at around 204,000, representing roughly 0.1% of Brazil's total population. This community includes descendants of those early Middle Eastern immigrants, African Muslims, and an increasing number of Brazilian converts to Islam. The faith is practiced openly, and the country is home to more than 150 mosques, with the oldest being Mesquita Brasil in São Paulo, established in 1929. In terms of sectarian affiliation, the majority of Muslims in Brazil are Sunni. The Sunni community is largely integrated into Brazilian society, contributing to the nation's cultural and social fabric while maintaining their religious identity. On the other hand, Shia Muslims represent a smaller portion of the Muslim population. Many recent Shia immigrants have formed tight-knit communities, primarily in São Paulo, Curitiba, and Foz do Iguaçu. These areas have become hubs for their cultural and religious activities, where they maintain their distinct practices while coexisting with the broader Sunni population. Although exact percentages of Sunnis and Shias are not clearly documented, it is evident that Sunni Muslims form the overwhelming majority. The presence of Shia Muslims, while smaller, adds to the diversity of Islam in Brazil. This sectarian distribution reflects the global patterns of Islam while adapting to the unique cultural and social dynamics of Brazil. Together, these communities illustrate the multifaceted nature of the Muslim population in a country as vast and varied as Brazil. Muslims in Brazil, though a minority, lead lives deeply rooted in their faith while fully participating in the vibrant cultural mosaic of Brazilian society. Daily life for Muslims in the country revolves around the core tenets of Islam, adapted to their surroundings. One of the most prominent aspects of their faith is prayer, or salat. Observant Muslims perform 5 daily prayers at specific times, creating moments of reflection and connection throughout their day. In urban areas like São Paulo and Foz do Iguaçu, where mosques are more accessible, communal prayers are common, strengthening bonds within the community. In regions with fewer mosques, individuals often pray at home or use designated spaces, ensuring that their spiritual practices remain uninterrupted. Community engagement is another cornerstone of Muslim life in Brazil. Through Islamic centers and associations, they organize educational programs, charitable activities, and social events. These gatherings not only foster a sense of belonging, but also provide opportunities for religious education, ensuring that Islamic traditions are passed on to younger generations. At the same time, many Muslims actively participate in broader Brazilian cultural activities, creating a harmonious blend of religious identity and national culture. This dual engagement reflects their adaptability and their commitment to contributing to the nation's diverse social fabric. Geographically, the Muslim population in Brazil is concentrated in specific regions, each with its unique characteristics. São Paulo is home to the largest Muslim community in the country, supported by numerous mosques and Islamic centers. This diverse population includes descendants of Middle Eastern immigrants and an increasing number of Brazilian converts, creating a rich and dynamic community. In Paraná, cities like Curitiba and Foz do Iguaçu stand out as significant hubs of Muslim life. Foz do Iguaçu, in particular, is renowned for its vibrant Muslim population and several mosques that serve as focal points for worship and community activities. Meanwhile, the southern state of Rio Grande do Sul also hosts a notable Muslim presence, with active organizations and places of worship contributing to the local culture. These communities have successfully established mosques, schools, and cultural centers, facilitating the practice of Islam and strengthening their role in Brazil's multicultural landscape. By staying true to their faith while embracing the broader culture, Muslims in Brazil continue to exemplify how diverse traditions can coexist and enrich a nation. Despite their resilience and contributions to Brazil's diverse society, Muslims in the country face several significant challenges that affect their daily lives and their integration into the broader community. One of the most pressing problems is Islamophobia and religious discrimination. We will look at this in more detail in the next section. Another obstacle Muslims in Brazil face is rooted in widespread misconceptions and stereotypes about their faith and culture. These biases can lead to social exclusion and prejudice, affecting employment opportunities, social interactions, and even access to basic services. Such misconceptions often paint a monolithic or inaccurate picture of Islam, failing to recognize the rich diversity within the Muslim community itself. There are also legal and institutional challenges that occasionally hinder the full practice of Islam in Brazil. While the Brazilian constitution guarantees freedom of religion, practical issues sometimes arise, such as difficulties in establishing new mosques, gaining recognition for halal dietary laws, or securing accommodations for religious practices in public institutions and workplaces. These barriers can make it harder for Muslims to observe their faith fully while participating in public life. Addressing these challenges requires a joint effort from both the Muslim community and broader Brazilian society. Greater public education about Islam, stronger enforcement of anti-discrimination laws, and more opportunities for interfaith dialogue are essential steps toward fostering understanding, tolerance, and inclusivity. The Muslim community in Brazil continues to demonstrate remarkable resilience in the face of these obstacles, striving not only to preserve their faith, but also to contribute positively to the multicultural fabric of the nation. By addressing these issues collaboratively, Brazil can uphold its tradition of diversity and ensure a more inclusive society for all. In Brazil, Islamophobia exists as a complex and multifaceted issue, manifesting in various forms of discrimination, prejudice, and, at times, outright violence against the Muslim community. Muslims in Brazil, though a small minority, have reported instances of verbal abuse, social exclusion, and discriminatory practices, particularly in workplaces and educational institutions. A recent study conducted by the Anthropology Group on Islamic and Arab contexts at the University of São Paulo revealed that approximately 70% of respondents knew someone who had experienced religious intolerance since October 7, 2023. This troubling statistic aligns with a noticeable rise in anti-Muslim sentiment, often influenced by international events that create ripple effects in local communities. For Muslim women, the challenges are particularly acute. Those who wear the hijab frequently encounter verbal harassment and, in some cases, physical assaults. One study highlighted that 73% of female Muslim respondents had suffered some form of aggression in public spaces, and 10% reported being physically attacked. These incidents not only reflect religious discrimination, but also underline the gendered nature of such hostility, making Muslim women more vulnerable in public life. While Brazil does not have prominent organizations explicitly dedicated to promoting Islamophobia, certain far-right and neo-Nazi groups have targeted Muslims among other minority communities. These groups, though relatively small and marginal, have been involved in spreading hate speech and occasionally inciting violence. Their actions, while not widespread, serve as a reminder of the latent challenges that minorities face in maintaining their safety and dignity. Efforts to combat Islamophobia in Brazil are multifaceted, with contributions from legal, governmental, and community-driven initiatives. The Brazilian Constitution guarantees freedom of religion, providing a solid legal framework to address religious intolerance. The Federal Supreme Court, STF, has also reinforced the principle of state secularism, ruling against laws that might infringe on religious freedoms. These legal protections serve as a foundation for ensuring that all citizens, regardless of their faith, are treated equally. Muslim organizations, such as the Federation of Muslim Associations of Brazil, FAMBRAS, play a crucial role in promoting understanding and integration. Through interfaith dialogues, educational programs, and community outreach initiatives, they work tirelessly to combat stereotypes and foster a culture of tolerance. Their efforts not only benefit the Muslim community, but also contribute to the broader goal of societal harmony. Additionally, the government has taken specific actions to address religious intolerance. For example, in Rio de Janeiro, the State Legislative Assembly established a commission of inquiry to investigate and combat rising incidents of religious intolerance. Similar efforts in other states aim to create strategies for promoting religious freedom and inclusivity. While challenges persist, these ongoing efforts by both governmental and non-governmental organizations provide hope for a more tolerant and inclusive Brazil. The fight against Islamophobia is not just a Muslim issue, but a broader societal challenge that requires collaboration, education, and a commitment to upholding the values of respect and equality. As we've explored the fascinating history, daily lives, challenges, and contributions of Muslims in Brazil, it's clear that their story is one of resilience, diversity, and cultural richness. From their arrival during the colonial period to their growing presence in modern society, the Muslim community continues to shape and enrich Brazil's vibrant multicultural landscape. If you found this video informative and want to learn more about topics like this, don't forget to support the channel. Hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with others who might be interested in learning about the diverse stories that make up our world. Your support means a lot and helps us bring more content like this to you. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.